Yo, y'all cannot keep bashing them OGs, bro. Like, knock it off, bro. Y'all bashing them more than y'all bash Ronald Reagan for flooding all that crack shit into our fucking neighborhoods, and Harlem was closing up all them fucking warehouse jobs and all that, and making our neighborhood becoming a fucking starvation survival mode, and niggas who just felt like they had to get it started bubbling crack and selling it into the neighborhoods and playing a part and fucking up our neighborhoods. Y'all bashing those, and I ain't talking about myself, I'm talking about motherfuckers even older than me. Y'all bashing them OGs like they just took you at 8 years old and 100% manipulation was applied to get you to go stand at that building or stand on that corner or do such and such. I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up in one of the most notoriously high-stricken poverty ghettos of New York, right? But inside those projects, you had the band kids, the ones you always see coming home late from school, carrying instruments and all that kind of stuff. You had the kids that everybody was calling the nerdy kids. They always was in the library or extracurriculum things after school. You had the athlete kids that was inside the community centers trying to play basketball, working out a lot, whatever, played on football teams, such and such. You had the travelers. You always seen them leaving out the projects dressed up on the weekends or whatever, or going somewhere. They never hung around in peace. They came out their building, they went where they went. You know what I mean? You had the petty thugs. Those was the motherfuckers that was setting the damn garbage on fire and breaking windows and try to break into cars and stealing stuff. Back then they was called petty thugs. They just used to do a bunch of dumb shit. You know what I mean? Grabbing crackheads' money, running off. And then you had the gangsters, the ones who was getting money, who carried themselves in a certain kind of caliber, who did a lot of things looking out for the neighborhoods and stuff like that also. But, they was hustling. I mean, they probably was getting their money from the streets. But you had a choice. And dudes I just was watching someone dude was talking about, I ain't had nobody to tell me that was wrong right there. I don't know, bro, because I had uncles, aunts. My father had already got killed. So I had uncles, I had aunts, I had my moms, my grandmoms, a bunch of people like, that ain't where you want to be at. Or that's not what you want to do. You should go do this or you should go do that. So we did have somebody try to tell us what was right or what was wrong, or that's going down a different kind of road. Like, you don't want that. That's going to be a whole lot of wear and tear on your life. Or you should try to go down this road. You know what I'm saying? It probably ain't as glamorous as that one at the moment, but it could, you know what I'm saying? It could get you somewhere in the long run. You know what I mean? Longevity. So all that always just bashing the OGs tricked us. They taught us wrong. And nobody tell you to rob that gas station. You went up north for robbing a gas station. Nobody told you to rob no gas station. A lot of you dudes that be talking about bashing them OGs and this and the third, you didn't get caught up in their indictments for what they went down for. You didn't get caught up in no gang indictments and all that extra stuff. You went to jail for robbing a gas station, or you went to jail because you dropped the gun that you had on your waist around a bunch of people and you hit an innocent bystander. And then now you talking about the OGs tricked you. Nah, your OG probably was a crackhead if he told you to go rob a gas station or some shit like that or whatever you did. That wasn't OGs doing that then, because I remember most of my OGs, them niggas finished school and all kinds of shit. They were just getting money. And they get busy. And if I would have even thought about probably going to rob a gas station, they probably would have been like, what? Nigga, we ain't doing that bottom feeding shit over here. What the fuck is you talking about? So I don't know what kind of OGs some of y'all had. I don't know who did y'all pick, or I don't know how was it set up in the neighborhoods you grew up in, but we all had choices, bro. We gotta also take some accountability, bro. We all had choices, bro. We had to like, bro. I hung out with the band kids too. I used to always be in top classes. Anybody that know me will tell you that. People that don't know me try to use me against myself like I'm not intelligent. But everybody that know me will tell you that nigga was always in 1 and 2 classes. He just had a behavior problem. That was my only thing. but I was always in top classes. Nigga, I don't want science fairs, all kinds of shit. Like I always was in top classes. I always was studying stuff, always was educated. So I hung around in the school, I hung around with everybody. I was at the fake ass cool table, but I went and go chilled over there with the ones they called the nerds too, to talk about certain stuff that got to do with history or whatever. I went over here and I was playing in the band and playing drums and learning how to play the keyboard and guitar. I did all that shit growing up as a kid. I had a choice. I could have decided to keep going with any one of those at that moment. But I made a decision to want to do something else at that time, at that age. It wasn't like somebody just sat there and just installed a whole bunch of manipulation in my head for me to decide to go do something. Nah, y'all gotta stop bashing them OGs. You gotta also take some accountability on your own, bro. Don't be like, yo, I ain't really had nobody to tell me different. Somebody told you different, man. Somebody told you different. It was even dope fiends out there trying to tell motherfuckers back then, like, man, you don't want to end up like me, man. I went through that road fucking with that life and this and that and the third happened. You decided, you thought that ain't gonna happen to me. Cause some of you niggas don't turn into motherfucking dope fiends, crackheads, rats, because you knew in your heart that you really could not hold circumstances. You couldn't carry it. You were spilling glasses of water everywhere. You couldn't hold your own. You knew this in your heart. You chose it for temporary satisfaction. You felt like you could try to get some money and dodge the consequences that probably could come. And then when something didn't go your way, now you like, them OGs lied to me. That's why I decided to tell. No, they did not lie to you, nigga. You seen niggas going to jail and getting killed out there. You seen what the fuck that happened. You seen the shit. You decided it. Stop trying to bash and blame them OGs, man. Take some accountability for yourself, man. Stop lying, man, all the time. You robbed the gas station. You stole that old lady earrings and all that dumb shit. You broke into that old man apartment and all that. It wasn't OGs telling you to do that shit, bro. If the niggas you call OGs had you doing that, those was probably crackheads. Or maybe the niggas that you was following was fucking burglars or whatever they was. But when y'all say OGs, specify the kind of dudes that you talking about. Don't just say those OGs out there, because people was thinking that you talking about, for one, they probably thinking y'all talking about like gangbanger OGs. And most of them back in the 90s and stuff wasn't trying to tell dudes to do a bunch of dumb stuff. They actually was trying to tell motherfuckers, no, don't drink, don't be smoking in public, work out every day, keep your health up to par, learn your history, learn about the Panthers, learn about this government, learn about this, learn. It was a lot of learn, and carry yourself in a certain kind of form or fashion. They wasn't just saying go do a bunch of dumb shit.